I'm Joshua Burgess, and I'm here to lead you through learning the skills of dialectical behavioral therapy. And that is a very simple model that helps us change by filling in our blanks with skills that will help us tolerate distress, regulate our emotions, learn how to interact better, and become more mindful. And that's where we'll start is mindfulness, because when we are mindful, we can attach skills to that. But if we're not mindful, it's really hard to attach skills to an inflexible mind. So I want to just give you an introduction to what we're going to be doing. I'll be sending you small skills to be learning with a PDF to go and to print out or to use on your phone as a guide for doing this skill. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, hoping for it to be about 5 minutes to reserve to watching this video and looking over the PDF. And I encourage you to do that with your family, your parents, your siblings, your spouse, a close friend, a mentor, where you can learn how to use these skills in that relationship so you can get that encouragement. So I want you to be thinking about what your personal goals are, because our goals with the skills that we're going to be learning are to become more tolerant of distress, for us not to panic in light of being in distress, for us to be able to maintain awareness of what is happening in our mind, what is happening in our body, what is happening around us, which is mindfulness, for us to improve how to speak up and set boundaries, which is interpersonal effectiveness skills, that's relational skills, and then altogether learning the skills that will regulate our emotion so they can be much more consistent instead of being so high and low. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what the assumptions are of this work so that you can get into the right headspace as we're thinking about this. Essentially, we believe that people are doing the best they can with all of the ingredients that has been poured into them at that moment. And so we're wanting to believe that if we can give someone a different way to think about the problem, a different way to cope with the problem, or a different way to interact with people, that they'll do better, that they're limited with what they have. And so given more, a different perspective, different emotional regulation, that they would handle the situation better. We believe that people want to improve, that is a natural state, that we want to do better, and something has happened to us to cause us to not want us to do better, that we've been wounded, that we've been hurt, that we've been misunderstood along our path, and that's gotten us to this point. We're assuming that people need to do better, try harder, and be more motivated to change. And now we do believe the idea of sometimes it's not trying harder, sometimes it's trying smarter. Often it's trying smarter. For instance, when we grieve, we want to start by grieving small, simple steps, or when we try a new skill, starting with small, simple steps. So it's tolerable, but believing that it's us who need to make the change. We can't simply point fingers, and that's important ones for number 4 here. Others may have caused our problems, but they're not going to be the ones that solve them, probably. It's going to have to be us. And so us getting stuck, this is another one, us getting stuck in judging and blaming, that's not helpful to us. It's helpful for us to think about, how can I emotionally regulate myself, grieve this, improve my form of interaction instead of waiting for the other person to change. And that we'll have to learn new behavior and learn how to implement it in all these different relevant contexts. And that's tricky, because we'll be surprised at, we can be effective in one setting with a skill and then be completely ineffective in another setting. And so we're learning how to be flexible and how to interact with things in different ways. We're looking at the fact that there's causes to our feelings and our thoughts, and that there's ways that we can interact with them to change them. The word dialectical in dialectical behavioral therapy, it does mean we're working at the warring thoughts and feelings inside of us to find a level of resolve. And so we're learning these skills that will hopefully give us some kind of capacity to better handle what we're thinking and feeling or interacting with. So I want you to think about what kind of weaknesses you have in what areas of the four. Again, it's mindfulness, it's distress tolerance, emotional regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness skills, which is relational skills. I want you to think about in what areas do you need help? How can you be more flexible in your thinking so you can think through things more clearly without as much emotion clouding it, and be ready to learn new skills each week? Feel free to send me questions as you have them. I'm happy to help you and anyone else with learning these.